It's Monday, the 9th of May, 2022. Welcome to the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Amyler.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, story number 1. Last night, Prime Minister Scott Morrison and opposition leader Anthony Albanese held their second debate. It was a bit of a Barney, really. There was plenty of speaking over each other, plenty of arguing, and not really a huge amount of control over the conversation.
Yes, I think that's a pretty good characterisation. The conversation included discussion on divisions within the coalition, political corruption and a federal anti-corruption commission, taxation and climate change, interest rates and the cost of living got a good run, defence, Solomon Islands, China, COVID, and doing deals with the crossbenchers. Both leaders were asked about their attitude to women and how they are perceived. One of the more uncomfortable moments was when Mr Albanese was asked why he wouldn't start an inquiry into claims the late Senator Kimberley Kitchen was bullied. The Prime Minister's final statement focused on the government's economic credentials and future investing, including in health. He said now is not the time to risk things by voting for the unknown. Anthony Albanese's final statement focused on the cost of living and wages, more affordable childcare and aged care, climate change and equality for women. Who won? Good question. The viewer poll taken during the debate put Anthony Albanese as preferred Prime Minister over Scott Morrison, 49 to 45%. I'm not sure how scientific that one was. Certainly the opinion polls out of News Corp and Nine, taken ahead of the debate, have Labor with a decent two-party preferred lead of 54 to 46%. That gap has widened. Mr Morrison remains the preferred Prime Minister, but not by much. So, 12 days to go, you would have to say Anthony Albanese and the Labor Party are favourites.
All right, on to story number 2, Sean. And last week, obviously, there was so much talk about interest rates. Tell me, did it have any effect on the auction market over the weekend?
Yes, it did. Almost immediately, auction clearance rates fell across most capital cities, suggesting higher mortgage costs are already dampening the market. According to CoreLogic, vendors are also pulling their homes from the market. In Sydney, the preliminary clearance rate was under 59%, the lowest in 2 years. In Melbourne, it was 64.6%, which was the lowest since late last year. The other news on this front, comments by the Reserve Bank last Friday make it very clear that there are more interest rates in the offing. They've upped their inflation and wages forecasts, and they actually said they'll do what's necessary to ensure that inflation in Australia returns to target over time. This will require a further lift in interest rates. There you go.
Yep, there you go. Now, Sean, story number 3, Macquarie Group last week delivered a 56% jump in net profit to $4.7 billion. But some of the other numbers that came out are just extraordinary, and this relates to how much money some of the senior managers at the company are making. These are huge figures.
Extraordinary. Chief Executive Shamara Wickramanayake is always among the top 2 or 3 paid CEOs in the country, and she made $26 million last year. She'll remain among those top 2 or 3, and it was up $5 million. But she was number 2. The head of commodities in global markets did even better. Nick O'Kane earned $36 million for the year to the end of March. Now, clearly that's based on performance, and commodity prices have done really well. And one of the reasons Macquarie's profit jumped 56% was the fact that commodities were up so far. But $36 million for one person for 12 months? Wow.
That is just, you said it, extraordinary is the word for that, because that is just amazing. Now on to story number 4, Sean, and a really interesting development on the debate over renewable energy. The chief executive of Rio Tinto says that Australia isn't actually shifting fast enough to allow for coal-fired power stations to be removed.
Yes, iron ore miners are massive users of energy and have a vested interest in the debate. Last week, remember, much of the discussion centred on AGL Energy and its largest shareholder, Mike Cannon-Brookes of Atlassian fame. He wants to buy the business and close power stations earlier. On Friday, Rio's Jakob Stausholm said the rate of coal-fired power plant closures would ultimately be set by Australia's commitment to investing in renewables. People will keep using energy no matter what. So the debate should be about ramping up renewables rather than about closing down fossil fuel stations. It's a fair point.
Okay, last one. Story number 5, Sean, and this is a cracker because it's about one of our favourite billionaires, Elon Musk, and the pitch being used by Elon to convince Twitter shareholders to sell him the social media group for $44 billion has been leaked. And in true Musk style, it is very blue sky.
I love the fact that you called him Elon just then as you were giving that intro.
I kind of feel like we're pretty casual now.
Yeah. It's kind of like Roger, as in Roger Federer, Elon, as in Elon Musk. Anyway, look, the New York Times accessed a copy of his pitch to shareholders, and certainly he's dreaming big, which is fair enough given what he's done with Tesla and electric vehicles and private space exploration. Mr. Musk reckons he can increase revenue 5 times in the next 6 years, cut the group's reliance on advertising, and get into the payment systems business. Mr. Musk reckons Twitter can reach 931 million users by 2028. That's about 4 times its current level, and have 104 million subscribers to a new product called X. No one knows what that is. He hasn't detailed it, but he's very confident about it.
Ooh, I love a bit of mystery. That's great. Very Elon Musk, isn't it?
Very Elon.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Monday, the 9th of May, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, then you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.